This little handsome devil is Yoda, and as we heard in the above video, when just a couple minutes ago, Copenhagen kind of got into it with Yoda. And I was asking the Guardian what happened, and basically, she'll correct me if I'm wrong, but Cope was putting his paw on Yoda's back repetitively, which Yoda doesn't like, and that's kind of a way of dominating. Yoda went ahead and turned around and kind of nipped at him a couple times, and Cope, being a big dog that's a puppy that doesn't have a lot of self-control, is like, no, I like putting my paw on your back. And finally, after Yoda nipped him the last time, Cope actually took it as an affront, and they kind of get into a little bit of a fight. Because Cope is a German Shepherd, this is not going to be a fair fight with the Westie, even though Westies are tough. So basically, I wanted to talk about a little bit about some social interactions, things for you to watch out for, and how to have you act so that you are interceding, or the Guardian is interceding as a leader. So number one, if a dog sticks its chin over another dog's back, that's an attempt to kind of dominate or intimidate them a little bit. Pawing, as you've identified, is something they don't like as well. Also, like invading that dog's personal space, especially like if Yoda's got a ball or a bone or something and Cope comes over and then starts moving really slow in front of Yoda, that's kind of, it's not a good sign without getting into too much detail. So what should you do? A lot of times if we yell, hey, stop that, that can be the catalyst. And I've had a lot of clients where that's where the fight breaks out. It just, things are getting tense and all of a sudden that's the spark. So instead of doing that, what I would do is I would go over, get in between them, and move Cope away. Now, the best thing to do is recognize it before it happens. We talked in the last session that we did about escalating consequences, thank you, buddy, and how to disagree. So as soon as you see kind of Cope kind of stalking Yoda a little bit, I would give him a sharp hiss. It's much easier to diffuse a situation if you start early before it really escalates. So if you notice that he's following Yoda and Yoda is trying to move away, we need to let Cope know, no, if Yoda moves away repetitively, your job is to respect that. If he keeps on saying, no, but I want to play with you, I want to play with you, I want to play with you, well, kids don't allow that, and we can't let the dogs do that, because if we let them sort it out, Yoda's going to be on the losing end of these battles or confrontations. So what we want to do is I would hiss as soon as you see Yoda move away the second time and Cope follows him, I would stand up and hiss. If that didn't work, then I would get in between them. Now, if Cope is getting really aggressive, which it sounds like in a couple situations he has, but he's been kind of panicked. So it's not his default behavior, which is a good sign. But we don't want to have him practice those sort of things. So obviously you need to stay safe, but so that's why I think a lot of interceding ahead of time is going to go a long ways towards helping out with this. Now I'm also going to show you, go over some techniques in this session where we're going to help the Guardian teach Cope to focus and pay attention to her. And so I have a couple different versions of it we're going to try. One is more of an indoor, one's more of an outdoor. We're going to see which one works. But German Shepherds are extremely trainable dogs if we tap into that. A lot of people don't tap into that, and they kind of use their focus and determination to do the things that we don't want them to do, and they get in more and more trouble, and it gets really frustrating for us. The great thing is once you tap into that, you can use that as an asset, and it really helps. That's why you can redirect his attention from doing the wrong thing. Instead of messing around with Yoda, come over here, we're going to practice the focus exercise. Come over here, we're going to focus a watch exercise, or we're going to work on this particular trick or that trick. And so we get him to engage, and then he's doing something that's positive as opposed to acting out kind of on his more basic instincts. So these are some of the signs we should look for. Also, let me go over some basic signs before I wrap this up. If you see Yoda licking his lips a lot, that's a sign of stress. If you see Yoda turning his head to the side a lot and yawning, that's also, it could be a calming signal. It could be a way of saying, hey man, leave me alone. So, we want to kind of use both dogs as a barometer. If one of them is consistently trying to get away, then I intercede and don't let the other one approach. If we have to, we can put Cope on a leash, step on it, or take him outside, play a little fetch. It might be an indication that he doesn't have enough energy burned. Licking of the lips is one thing to look out for. We obviously know about the hackles standing up, the hair on the back standing up. That's kind of it's going in a direction we don't like. Now, it's an involuntary reflex by itself. It's not bad. But you start seeing the dog panting heavily or holding its breath or moving slowly, and the hackles are up, and the ears are forward, and the tail's up. Those are signs where that's a lot of communication between the dogs. Most people wait until the fight, and then they're like, it came out of nowhere. Well, it came through all those communications that I just mentioned. So if you see one of the dogs moving slowly, that's a good time to give them to interrupt them. If you see one holding his breath or breathing really heavily, it's excited, and just like us, dogs get in trouble when they're overexcited. Depleting a sufficient amount of energy also goes a long ways. I've had a lot of clients with big breed dogs that are a high energy dog that get into trouble because they don't have the energy depleted and they're just looking for something to do. So if he is going at Yoda, a good maybe prophylactic tactic to have would be to take him outside and play fetch. Take him out for a little walk, do some roller blading, dog skiing, whatever it is to help him burn off that excess energy so he comes back in and he's more ready to accept Yoda saying, this we will not do. I'm sorry, I can't do a Yoda impression, but so these are some things to watch for in terms of the dogs socially interacting with one another.